What happens if a situation arises that you were unprepared for? A situation such as a blizzard, a tornado, or being locked down due to a virus. Put yourself in any possible situation that could arise. Now ask yourself, what would you do? Where would you go? What do you need? Are you ready? Because what if tomorrow? Welcome to another episode of the What If Tomorrow podcast. I'm Philip.
And I'm Mark.
And tonight, man, we've got a lot of news to cover tonight, so we want to jump off first. Want to get into it. First things first, though, check us out over our website, whatiftomorrowmedia.com. We've got all our affiliates, all our old shows. I'm trying to get some work done and get some things changed around the way all of our new shows are on there with both podcasts. I want to see if we can make it work. Do us a favor, though. Check out our affiliates down there. Help us grow the show. Help us, cover some of the costs. I mean, this is not free, obviously, but we do enjoy bringing you the content, and I'm glad you guys enjoy hanging out with us. But do us a favor. Check out our affiliates. We've got Duke Cannon over there. Great product. I've used them ever since or before we picked them up as an affiliate. We've got EMP Shield. Lord knows what's going to happen. I mean, there's threats of, nuclear attack or something like that, and going on with Russia. I mean, around the world. So that could be a huge possibility to save your electrical system in your home. Then obviously the sunspots, yeah, big time right now. Solar activity is huge right now. And also, just get some food insurance. I mean, you hear Mark and I talk a lot about food storage and this and that, but it's a real thing, and with My Patriot Supply, it's good for 30 to 35 years, freeze-dried food, emergency food. That way, if you run out, if you lose a job, I mean, the economy is going in the tank. If for whatever reason you might need, you can feed your family. Then also, Conflicted the Game. You heard us here a month or so ago with Big Willie, and he jumped on and played a few rounds with us, and we had some people in the chat playing with us, which I had a good time with it. But yeah, check them out. Use your coupon code at purchase. I can't even talk. Coupon code of What If. That'll give you, I think, 20% off. Anyway. On with the show, and like I said, we have a lot of news, a lot of stuff going on right now. But
what in the wide world is going on here?
But yeah, I mean, first things first, the obvious one, Queen Elizabeth's passed away, and I can't say it bothers me. I shouldn't be laughing. It's pretty dark, but I do have a dark sense of humor that I don't let out very much on the show. Yeah, I can't say I'm too bothered by it. I really can't. I mean, it had no really effect. My wife, she put I wish Duke Cannon made woman stuff. But
it would be Duchess Cannon.
Duchess, that's right.
Just name their new line of products.
That's right. You can help them out. Hook them up. Back off of it. Yeah, but the Queen, my worry is, what is Charles going to do? This guy is far, I mean, extreme left. The history, and I'm not meaning to knock her. I don't know too much about her history. I know she helped a lot in World War II with the war. She actually served in that capacity. No special treatment, apparently. But let's be real. She was a queen. So, but my worry more is Charles, now King Charles III. I can't prove it, and I'll be the first to say that, but I think he is evil. I mean, I don't know if there's any other way to put it. because there's a video out of him signing some kind of decree or something like that, and he gets flat angry because he don't have a pen or anything like that, and you can see him gritting his teeth and baring his teeth and all that. So if I could took the time to find it, I probably could have, but this is just kind of off the cuff here. But to me, more important news of what's going on for all of you that support the Second Amendment, and I've got a pretty good feeling most of our listeners do. Visa has now signed on to, me pull it up here. Signed on to a registry for people who buy guns with using those cards. See, it's Visa, MasterCard, American Express. They've signed on to basically track what you purchase with those cards, which they already do anyhow. But now it's going to be in a registry. So and this comes back from the government kind of mandated this. And y'all know how I feel about the government. But with this being said, if you think about it, absolutely. My wife posted use cash. Yes, if cash all the way.
If at all possible, use cash.
Which we need to be using as much cash as possible right now. Because y'all hear this digital US dollar or whatever digital currency is coming about, is use cash unless you have no other option. But if you have cash available, use it to try to force the system into keeping cash around. It's going to take millions of us, but it's got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But with this whole Visa, MasterCard, American Express thing, if you purchase a firearm or anything related, you go into a registry. It may not tell them exactly what was purchased, but they know a gun was purchased. They can then look at the price of a gun. You know, $500-600 is probably a handgun. You know, $800 to $1,200 is probably your basic AR-15, and higher up, so on and so forth. They can probably figure what kind of weapon or gun was purchased. So do not use your cards to purchase firearms. I'm a huge supporter of the Second Amendment, Mark. I know you are too.
Yep.
This is a way for the government to backdoor overriding the Second Amendment. Have you seen, Mark, talking about the Second Amendment, have you seen all these videos of the ATF going to people's doors?
No, I have not.
Geez, there's a bunch of them out. There was one I saw yesterday, and it didn't show anybody. It was all blurred out. But this guy gets a knock on his door. He answers it. It's 2 ATF agents. And they have come to confiscate a solvent catcher. I guess it screws onto or goes over the barrel of your firearm. And they're like, well, we know what this is being used for. It's being used for a silencer or a suppressor. I guess I haven't looked a lot into it, but apparently you can convert it into a suppressor. You know, and the guy asked him, do you have a warrant? And they're like, no, we don't. And he said, then I'm not saying anything to you. Well, sir, we just need to collect this. We know you bought one, you know, because they're tracking online sales. He said, we know you have one, or you bought 2 of them. We're here to collect it so you stay out of trouble. The guy's like, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And they're like, oh, yeah, sir. Okay. You know, where are they at? And he said, no. He said, I don't know what you're talking about. So the video carries on, and he's like, I don't trust you guys, for one. He said, you guys are the government. I don't trust you. And they kind of start him-hawing, laughing. Yeah, whatever. You're one of those guys, huh? He's like, I've read books. He said, Ruby Ridge, Waco. He said, that's what you guys do.
Yeah.
And again, well, you need to stop reading. Why should I stop reading? So I'm not informed?
Yeah, you the guys are the murderers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, if you're not familiar with Waco or Ruby Ridge, look them up. I mean, there'll be all you need to know in there. Well, I don't know the way everything's being suppressed right now. It's kind of, you may not.
Yeah, you may not.
Look for an alternative browser and you can look it up and find it. I'm sure like maybe DuckDuckGo. Not a huge fan of that, but it seems to be less stringent, I guess. But yeah. So with this whole new category of gun sales, since they can't get it past the Congress, and it would be an infringement on our Second Amendment right, they're going to backdoor it by using and putting pressure on these credit card companies.
Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to do.
If this doesn't tell you what they are going to do if the digital currency comes online, you're mistaken. Hey, Mom, how are you doing? So use cash as much as you possibly can.
Yep.
That is my recommendation. I'm not going to tell you to stockpile, but not going to do that. And just keep your wits about you. Plain and simple. Now moving on. Mark, you got anything for that one?
No. I mean, I totally agree. Use cash whenever possible. It wouldn't be a bad idea to invest in some alternate forms of currency.
Yep.
I
Silver,
prefer canned goods and shotgun shells.
brass, silver, gold, even copper.
Yeah.
Alternative sources of barter.
Silver is still really reasonable.
Right. What'd you say? You were talking to a guy at work earlier today. What'd you say it was right now?
For $5 face value, either dimes or quarters of what they call junk silver, which is pre-64 silver coins, U.S. Mint.
Mm-hmm.
It's about $108 for $5 face value.
Right.
So it's still not. It's not gone up a whole lot. Silver has not. A silver dime should be worth about the price of a meal.
Yep.
So, and you should learn how to barter with precious metals or what have you, or whatever you've got.
Oh, for sure. I know I was talking to a guy up in town who deals, gold and silver, collectible coins, things like that. And I would recommend if you're going to buy collectibles. And reason being is because FDR confiscated people's gold, silver, things like that, everything that wasn't a collectible back in and around World War II.
Yep.
FDR was supposedly this guy that was a savior.
He was an evil son of a bitch.
He was evil, man. I mean, look what he did to the
admired
Japanese.
Hitler. Yeah.
Yes. And we talked about it last week. We talked about it. Him giving the resolution to the ships, or the U.S. ships to sink German and Italian ships on site. Okay, I can see that, for the simple fact that, okay, they're at war. We're not necessarily in war, but if we're being attacked, we have to be able to defend ourselves. Okay, I can. That's a reasonable argument. But he wanted us in that war so stinking bad. He was willing to do anything to get us there.
Because he knew it would end the Depression.
Right. And honestly, war is good for the economy.
It is.
Frankly. Not that I agree with it or, but it is.
That's
It's
how
good
it
for the
works out.
economy. It does. It sends people back to work on the production lines and all that good stuff. It does. And now we're living the military industrial complex that Eisenhower talked about.
Yeah.
Because if you look how much money is dumped into defense spending, and don't get me wrong, I'm all for strong defense. I absolutely am. I am all for a strong military. But some of that money could be used somewhere else as well.
No,
Because we outspend. Oh, go ahead, Mark. Sorry.
a lot of that's going to foreign powers who are selling it on the black market right now.
Yep. Look at Ukraine. How many billions of dollars has been shipped over there? And they can only count for like 20 or 30% of it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's going into people's pockets and right back into other people's pockets here in the United States. Guarantee it.
Yep. Your congressmen and senators are getting rich off this.
Yep.
And their buddies.
I'd be curious to see how much money. I'd be curious to see their bank accounts.
I would. Oh, by the way, silver today is right now $20.07 an ounce.
Yeah.
So it's pretty
speaking
low
of
right
silver,
now.
though. Yeah. Go get some. Find a good coin collector in your area. Help them out because it's local. Because if you go on and I'm not knocking these guys because they are able to bring up some new stuff and all that, but like these all these gold and silver places online you find that are the big corporations and stuff that sell them. Go local, man. Support your local businesses. Just like we talked about the last show, or the last What If Tomorrow. That's part of your community. Keep your money in your community as much as you possibly can. Anyway, well, the silver, I was talking to our local guy here last year or something like that. We were buying some. And I asked him, I said, so are silver prices being artificially suppressed? He said, oh, yeah. He said, by far. Because that's an economic indicator that your economy is going to crap, is the price of gold and silver go up.
Yeah.
And if they go up substantially, it's going bad. So it's just something to keep in mind. Anyway, on to the next one. This is no surprise to me, but the headline says Disney employee, corrections officer, deputy police chief, teachers are among 160 arrested in Florida during undercover operation targeting human trafficking.
No surprises.
No surprises. Maybe the deputy sheriff and the deputy police chief, maybe the corrections officer, but why? I don't get it.
No. Well, what gets me is a lot of these groups that's trying to put an end to it and that's trying to do stuff about it. They've been demonetized by places like PayPal and what have you. You can't donate to them. They can't do GoFundMe's. Why would they do that? That just tells me that these people are in on it.
Yeah. That's what I believe. They know about it. They see the transactions and they're like, oh, I'm making money off of it, so it doesn't matter. Again, follow the money. Look where the money's going.
Right.
And if you put a stop to those people, it's going to be harder for the traffickers to change money over.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's always a way. These people are crooked. They know the game. And I know that's one of the big pushes for this digital US dollar is to reduce that, the like drug deals, and there's going to be other ways.
Oh yeah.
They will have their own currency. Somehow, some way they'll do it.
Absolutely.
Um
And where's
let's
Epstein's
see.
list?
I want to see Epstein's list.
Yes.
I really do. And I want to see arrests made because I'm not the only one that thinks this way, but a lot of the people on there obviously were elite, quote unquote elite.
No, they had to have a lot of
Because
money.
if you're that type of person, you are not elite by any stretch of the imagination. You're freaking lower than dirt.
You're just a rich scumbag.
Exactly. And you can pay people to take the fall for you, or pay people to get you out of trouble, pay
Or
people to
silence.
keep you out of trouble. Right. Or silence people, which I firmly believe that's happening.
Oh yes.
Um, yeah, it's. I'm actually trying to get a person on from one of those groups that go in and pull these kids and women out of the trafficking situations. My wife posted, "Yep, cough, cough." The royal family, cough, cough. But yeah, I'm waiting to hear back from this group, and trying to figure out a way to do it, just in case. I don't know how, if we'll need to disguise their voice. I mean, we can come on here, and Mark and I can be on here, and we can have them hidden so you can't see his face or their face or whoever it is. But I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. But I really do want to get somebody on here that lives in that world. Because the last interview I heard with this gentleman, he was over in Ukraine pulling kids and women out. Ukraine is the top spot in the world for sex trafficking.
Big surprise.
Yeah, go figure. The most corrupt, as well. Even Frank Jacob flat said it. He's like, Ukraine is the most corrupt nation in the world. Why else would they dump so many billions of dollars over there?
Oh yeah, money laundering.
Yeah.
And nobody says a word because poor Ukraine.
Right.
Well, yes, their citizens are being murdered and whatnot, but
Yep.
their elite are getting rich.
Oh yeah, he's making money hand over fist off of us.
One of these days, he'll just disappear.
Yep. He'd be on some little island somewhere, living his life.
Living the dream.
But karma, call it what you will, it always comes back. Always.
Yep.
Anyway, on to the next story. We've talked about this a few times, not necessarily in that name, but a while back when we were talking about the CDSQR or CESQR or whatever. This also ties right into it. They're talking about guaranteed income programs spreading across the U.S. I mean, of course, they're going to fluff it up, make it a nice story, because you're helping people. Well,
No,
I think we saw the issue, and I'll even say it when President Trump started handing out money, through COVID and all that.
Yeah.
People were making more on unemployment than they were working. Now the chickens have come home to roost, and our taxes and all that crap are going up. We printed more money, so which is going to drive inflation up. As much as I liked President Trump, he's not innocent.
He made some bad decisions. Yes,
He did. Absolutely, he did. And I'm liable to get shot in the face for this, because I disagree with the extreme right. I'm trying to be honest. I mean, I think he did a lot of great things, but he did some things that I think was wrong. My wife, she said, if they gave you that money, they can take it away. We would live in a don't bite the hand that feeds you society. Absolutely.
And that's it. That's it. It's called buying the electorate.
That's you're buying votes. Yep. Now, part of this talks about Jack Dorsey, the former CEO of Twitter. He donated $15 million, okay, to mayors for a guaranteed income. Okay, that's all well and good. If that's what you choose to do with your money, go for it. I don't have a problem with that. I don't. And it says he's going to give. See, this is in Oakland. A private funded organization pledged to give 600 low-income families $500 for 18 months. In San Diego, a nonprofit group will give certain families with young children $500 a month for 2 years. If it's donated money and you want to help the poor, by all means.
That's actual charity. That's fine.
That is charity. But if they are taking it, but California is also testing this out. Right. See, it says last year, according to the New York Times, California set aside $35 million over 5 years for other cities to carry out their own pilot programs. That's where I start having a problem with it.
Taxpayer
is you're
money.
taking my money and doing that. If I want to help people, I will go help people. I don't have a problem helping people. But don't force me to do it.
Don't encourage bad behavior and bad decisions.
Right. It says support for some of our guaranteed income or universal basic income, the UBI, has come from across the political spectrum. In 2016, progressive former union leader Andy Stern and conservative author Charles Murray both wrote separate books proposing a UBI between $12,000 and $13,000 annually. It says under Murray's vision, UBI would serve as a streamlined alternative to the current bureaucratic welfare state. Stern believes UBI is necessary to confront a future in which much work is automated and human labor becomes expendable. What was it you and I were talking about, a few weeks ago?
Yeah.
$1,000 a month.
Well, also the fellow from World Economic Forum. What are we going to do with the useless people?
Yep. Absolutely. That's all part of it, guys.
Yep.
Put the puzzle pieces together. Some of them are hard to find.
Some of them aren't pleasant.
No. But it's the reality we're living in. Now, I think we can create our own reality.
I do.
Start local. Create your community. Mark and I have talked about that. You got any other news to share?
Well, did you see the Russian maritime reconnaissance aircraft that was violating U.S. airspace on 9/11?
No, I did not. Hey, you're muted, Mark.
Sorry.
That's all right.
A Russian Tu-142 maritime reconnaissance aircraft was intercepted near the Alaska coastline on 9/11. So, what a nice day to jack with us on.
Yep. There's a reason, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, it's symbolic.
Yep.
They just wanted to flex their muscles a little bit. Oh, and AOC claims she can't become president because America hates women.
Yeah, we're keeping women down. Okay.
Yeah, I think
Does
maybe
she
we just
feel
hate her.
oppressed? I would lean more that way
Yeah.
because she's a waste of space.
Talk about useless people.
Yeah. And Chris said, or just one or two women.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with
This
that.
is my wife and I sat and watched that movie Charlie Kirk did. I think I was telling you about it this morning that
Yeah.
What is a Woman? And this has absolutely nothing to do with the show, but it was so funny. I mean, for lack of a better term, when he would paint them in a corner using logic. I mean, one of the professors he was interviewing, it was a man teaching women's gender studies in college. Exactly. um, yeah, my wife said
Don't
AOC
make
from
me
bartender
laugh.
to
I'll start
Congress.
coughing, man.
No, go for it. You can mute it. I don't care. And he did. My wife, she put for AOC from bartender to Congress. She is really oppressed. Right. Um, but this guy was kind of in retort and stuff, and Charlie Kirk's like, I just want to know the truth. Because nobody that supported the whole trans movement could answer the question or would answer the question. And this guy was running around in circles trying to avoid the answer. And he's like, why do you keep asking that? And Charlie Kirk's like, I just want to know the truth. And this guy, this professor, who is supposedly teaching kids, young adults, whatever you want to say it, to me, they're kids, has the audacity to say, well, the truth is offensive.
I find that person's existence offensive.
Exactly.
So, what are we going to do about that?
Right. And then there was another psychiatrist on there, and she was like, no, this is a mental disorder. And these people are basically criminals for supporting this, for pushing this on younger children. Because there was another doctor. Yes. There was another doctor who was a pediatrician and said that she would support the children, and he asked her something along the lines of how old are the children, where do the children, or where do you feel the children can make that decision? And she flat said, like, within days old. Right.
The doctor who helped invent the sex change operation stopped doing them because he was doing more harm to his patients than good.
Right. The wife, she put on there, so you guys should do a show on Alfred Kinsey and John Money. They did a lot of research into the trans movement. It is disturbing what came out on this, and we should do a show on it. It'll be one you don't want to miss. It'll be extremely charged and filled with rhetoric, I'm sure some people would say. Anyway, I thought I would share that. I mean, if I make you mad, I make you mad. But I would highly recommend anybody watching that, because he's never insulting. He just asks straightforward answers. And that's what is offensive to these people.
Right.
Because they can't give a straightforward answer.
I mean, if you're an adult and you want to pay for this yourself and do it to yourself, that's fine and dandy. I don't care.
Right.
That's your decision. But don't force it on children.
Right. Let's see. My wife said it's filled with truth, which is apparently offensive. Yes, it is. And that's why I say I don't like this. This is your truth. This is my truth. I don't like it. That to me shows moral decay, whether it be in the nation, because it's a huge movement. The truth movement is, well, it's not my truth, it's your truth.
Yeah, that's dumb.
That to
Facts
me,
are
overall, I
facts.
mean, exactly. But to me, truth is not subjective. If you look at something, well, that's not true, and to me it is true, one of us is wrong. There's no other way about it. It doesn't get any more black and white. Truth is truth. There is not, this is my truth, this is your truth. There is none of that. So that to me tells me there's so much moral decay in our nation because this is such a high, I don't know, priority, I guess, on people's lives. They're willing to argue. And that's great. If you want to argue what you feel is true, great. Show me where it's true.
Show me
Not
the
because you
facts.
feel a certain way. Show me the facts.
Well, I feel that I'm going to put my feelings out there. I think and feel that a lot of this is being pushed on us from outside source because of the whole wanting to reduce the world population. If you remove people from the uh, population of child producing people, which is what this basically does when you get right down to it,
Mm-hmm.
you that's what they're trying to do. They're
Yeah.
trying to make this acceptable so that they can trick you into removing yourself from the gene pool.
Mm-hmm. But children, if you're an adult and you choose to do something,
Yeah, go for
you handle the repercussions.
it.
You deal with that. That is on you. But the parents that are allowing this to go through
Or forcing it.
or forcing it just out of being vindictive. I know there's one case, I think, in Texas where I think the mom was a doctor trying to force it on her son. And the dad was so against it, but the judicial system held up her end because the father was being a threat or whatever. And he's like, no, my son is not that way. But it was out of being vindictive because
Yeah,
she didn't want her ex-husband to have any say in anything that she did with their child.
yeah, that's plain evil.
And yeah. And I got a lot to say on that, but that's a whole nother show. Yeah, my wife said, they're trying to get rid of the masculine man. They absolutely are. Absolutely are.
But it's amazing how popular the masculine men still are,
Right.
i.e., Top Gun.
Right. There were so many butthurt people over that movie
Oh yeah,
because he was too masculine. No, he's not. He was a man. In the movie, he was a man. I'll say that because we all know Tom Cruise is way the hell out there.
oh he's in
But
La
in the
La Land,
movie,
for real.
yeah. You think we're bad.
But he's a good actor. I mean,
Damn good actor. Yeah.
politics and everything else aside, he's a damn good actor,
Right.
and I enjoy his movies.
Right. But he is a weirdo. Um,
I mean, when you point your finger at somebody, there's four fingers pointing back at you.
absolutely. That's why I point like this.
Yep, yep. I see. Yep.
Anyway, we've been on a soapbox for 40 minutes of the show. Uh,
I mean, it's news.
It is news. It absolutely is. And I think it's relevant to today's world. Absolutely it is. But I want to get in, because Wednesday on the Fringe, we talked prophecy. And obviously this show is titled Prophecy, but we want to come to it come to it through different lens. I want to look at the different disaster scenarios that are like in prophecy, like the book of Revelation or Daniel or things like that. And if or how to prepare for those incidents. I mean, we're not gonna really discuss beliefs or rapture, all that stuff. That's arguable in its own right. But we want to look at, obviously the floods. I mean, in the Bible, God said he'd never flood the world again. Okay, fair enough. But it floods. We all know this.
That happens all the time.
Yeah. Asteroids or, fire and brimstone, whatever.
Yeah.
What else? What else were we talking about?
Well,
A worldwide earthquake.
Yep. Earthquakes.
Let's take that one.
Pole shift.
A worldwide earthquake. The only thing I could think that would cause a worldwide earthquake would be a crust or a shift of the Earth's crust, and it has happened in the world's history. With that, you're going to have so much going on. You're going to have flooding because the ocean is going to go crazy. Obviously, earthquake. You're going to have things opening up, fires, volcanoes going off. I mean, this one covers everything you and I have ever talked about.
Yeah, it really does.
It really
climactic shifts because you
yes.
probably get an ice age afterwards.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's bad. I still like the plague of frogs, though.
Yeah, the frogs or the locusts. I mean, we saw locusts this year.
Yeah. I was chewing them up.
How you prepare for it? Yeah, I don't know how you would prepare for a plague of locusts because they'll come in and destroy your crops.
I guess you catch them and eat them.
I guess. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
That'd be tough to prepare for because, I mean, if you're trying to grow your own food, they're going to destroy your food.
Right.
Unless you have food storage, something they can't touch.
Right.
But you have to have a good supply of food.
Yeah, and just a few days worth isn't going to cut it because the plague of locusts is going to take out years worth of food.
Right. Yeah, my wife said they're already trying to feed us bugs. They are, absolutely.
That's why I say just go catch them and eat them. There's your food supply.
Right. A closed greenhouse. That's a possibility.
Oh, they might be able to get in there.
You'd have to have maybe your ventilation system. I don't know. I guess you'd have to have a screen over your ventilation system. I think Mark's dying here.
Hey, everybody's dying. It's just a matter of time.
But yeah, I don't know. You have to cover your ventilation system on your greenhouse because, in all honesty, I think that would be the only way to grow food in a greenhouse. If you had a plague of locusts hit your land, but you would have to make sure it was secure. Nothing can get in.
Yeah, filtration, all kinds of crap.
Yeah, you'd have to have a closed off ventilation system, screened up. I don't know. Thinking about that stuff. Yeah, so that's the only way I can think. That's the only thing I can think of that you could do to raise your own food. But in a greenhouse, I don't think you're going to have or be able to, unless it was a big enough greenhouse.
You'd have to be able to grow. Size.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to be able to grow enough food to last you a year at least.
You'd have to do permaculture in the greenhouse.
Right. So back to the whole shift, the shift of the Earth's crust.
Yeah.
I don't know that you could prepare for that.
I don't either, because that would be a worldwide disaster. You would have entire countries starving out of existence.
Right. Not to mention the whole death toll. I mean, I know there's a map. Let me see if I can find it.
While you're looking, the last time we had a super volcano blow up on Earth, the population of humans dropped to under 10,000 worldwide, according to estimates. So, I mean, that would be a civilization ending event, potentially.
Yep. It'd definitely be an extinction level event.
Yeah, a lot of things would go extinct.
Yeah, it's not coming up. Maybe Google's got it blocked.
How about the plague of boils?
Yeah, what do you do for that? Soap and water? I don't know.
Quarantine, because obviously it's some sort of
you
disease.
you would have to.
Um, I mean, stock up on cortisone and antibiotics.
Yeah.
How? I just, ugh. That one bugs me for some reason.
Yeah, I'm not finding it. Yeah, I'm not finding it. There is a map that showed if it shifted a certain way, that like um, the Eastern Rockies would be a safe place because of such high elevation. Um, I don't know if you could say cave systems because if it's an earthquake.
Yeah, they collapse. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife put up garlic and oregano herbal medicine. Yes, you want a knowledge in herbal medicine anyway.
It's not a bad thing to have. And there's books.
Yeah,
Lots and
there is
lots of
books.
books.
There's so many resources I've been watching and reading and stuff. I mean, people. I mean, on TikTok and things like that. TikTok really not a reputable source, but there are people who are reputable on there. Go look for them. Obviously YouTube, things like that, because I mean they're all over the place. Like Old Man's Beard, or Spanish Moss is the same thing. Old Man's Beard is a huge antibiotic, antiviral, antifungal, all that. Yeah, garlic, oregano, honey. If you have a way to produce honey,
The humble dandelion.
yep.
The root can be used as a painkiller, and the leaves make a delicious salad, very similar to uh, romaine
Mm-hmm.
or arugula.
Yep. Um, just thinking of like shelter. Who knows what would happen on a worldwide shift?
Oh yeah,
In the Bible, it talks. What is it? A quarter of mankind will die. Something like that. Even if that's the case, I just heard the other day where we've hit like 8 billion people on the earth.
yeah, that's a lot.
So that's 2 billion people gone.
Well, I mean, it's probably going to be more than that.
Yeah.
Most people, only 0.1% of food is grown by people at their homes these days. Uh, it used to be back in the 40s, it was 45-50% of everybody got a lot of their food from their backyard garden.
Yep.
So if you just go back to the old standby, the old DARPA study, just having something knock out our power grid would kill 50% of Americans within 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, something on that scale, seeing mankind nearly wiped out overnight would not be out of the question.
No, it wouldn't. I mean, it would be a huge morale killer. just, mentally, the toll it would take on you if you survive that, the toll it would take on you, you would want to give up. You
I
see
don't.
the death, you're
Yeah,
displaced. I mean, mentally, it would tear you apart. Um, what else? What else we have here? Um, like I said, shelter. I don't know if you could have enough wood to build you a shelter. So you would have to have something to use as a shelter. Have to have something.
something pre-prepared.
But yeah, but I mean, if it's an earthquake, it's going to hit like that with no warning. I mean, just fast.
Get a camper, I guess. They're on a
Yeah.
suspension.
Yeah.
They got springs, shocks.
Yeah. Um, you said that word. And I'm waiting on my wife to post something. She's been wanting me to get one.
I want one bad.
Oh, I do too, but it'll happen. Just don't know when.
Well, and think about it.
There it is. Told you I was waiting on it.
Yep.
Told you we need a camper.
But a camper is a condensed place that would be ideal for a survival situation. You can carry around your own gas, to cook with for a while, and you can certainly scavenge propane tanks for a while.
Yep.
Most of them have propane powered appliances.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you throw in a solar generator and some water filterage, that could get you by.
Yeah, absolutely it could. I mean, a camper would be the way to go as long as you had something to pull it with.
Hell, I'll get some horses or an ox or something.
Yeah.
I can pull it.
You could figure out something, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, these electric vehicles aren't going to be able to do that.
No, they're not. They're going to be useless. And that's by design.
Absolutely, it is. But that, again, is a whole nother show. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what I would do. I'm trying to think of this from the perspective of what would I do in that situation. I mean, I prayed that nobody sees it.
Oh, that would be bad juju.
Yeah. Or even any of the plagues or the boils or the locusts, the fire and brimstone. It rains fire, basically fire, hailstones.
Volcanoes.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a possibility. I mean, that was one of our first shows, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
The first show, I think, was Yellowstone.
Second.
Don't go back and listen to it. Yeah, it was one of those two. We recorded them the same day. I know that. Yeah, but don't go back and listen to them. Do your own research.
Well, and no matter what we talk about, do your own research because
absolutely.
we're just a couple of mechanics. We don't.
Right. We like to talk about things like this. The plague of darkness. People would go nuts. If you look at Alaska in the wintertime, when they're 24 hours of dark, the rate of suicide skyrockets.
Yeah.
Because people get depressed. But what's crazy is, according to the book of Revelation, people will beg for death. They will try to kill themselves and they won't be able to die. That would be a whole nother torture, man.
Well, wasn't it Frank Jacobs who was talking about who was it who was talking about they're coming out, they were going to try to develop an inoculation to keep you from dying.
The Hydra vaccine. Yes. It's a thing they're trying to push on people. And what's crazy with this vaccine, it's all part of this. What we've talked about before, the whole CSQR, the Great Reset, all that. I haven't verified it, so I haven't really talked much on it. But this is also apparently turning, whether you believe it or not, I don't know. I'm not convinced, but I'm not saying it's impossible. But it's also turned into a spiritual war. And I firmly believe, and I've said it many times on here, that we are in a spiritual war. And the books and stuff that I've listened to and stuff I've seen here lately definitely strengthens that belief. But I truly believe we are in a spiritual war. And the theory, I guess, behind it, from what they're talking about, is in the fourth and fifth dimensions. And this kind of goes more on the fringe, but I think it's relevant here. Is they've got all the people they want. This whole vaccine thing is designed for people. It's designed to kill people. And if you see things, if you look how many professional athletes in the last year and a half to 2 years have either died from heart attacks, young men that are, or had to retire because they now have heart issues.
Or in our industry, pilots have been
Pilots?
forcibly retired because of heart
Right.
conditions caused by the vaccines.
Yes. So part of this is apparently part of the plan is to kill these people, right? And they believe the ones that took the vaccine, and I'm not judging, I'm just telling you what I've read. And again, I can't say this is 100% real. I can't say it's not.
It's a hell of a what if scenario, though.
It is a hell of a what if scenario. But look at the name of the show. But apparently, there's a spiritual battle going on. And these people that are pushing all of this agenda are capturing these souls and using them to fight this spiritual war. Right? So basically, they're building their ranks in the spiritual world. So they're going to use this. The plan is apparently to use this Hydra vaccine on people that didn't get the vaccine and stuff to keep them alive, because they know they're the type of people who will fight against them. And if they died, that's helping the other side out. So they want to use this Hydra vaccine, keep people drugged up on video games, all that stuff, to prevent the light side, so to speak, from being able to fight in the spiritual realm. It's pretty wacky.
It's pretty wacky, but it's a hell of a what if scenario.
Absolutely, it is.
And I have learned in the 2 years we've been doing this, I ain't going to write anything off.
Nope.
I ain't going to write
It's an
anything
interesting
off.
No, it's an interesting thought, I guess. But what's crazy is, have I shown you? I think some of it I've talked about synchronicities and stuff like that, and this has nothing to do with really preparedness. But I've experienced a bunch of them here lately.
Same.
And even little things. Like I can't remember. Last Wednesday, I think, when we got off, I went downstairs and my kids were watching something on YouTube, which we do. We try to control what they watch on YouTube. But they were downstairs and they were watching something on the giants, the skeletons and stuff that have been found and how they disappear, go to the Smithsonian, whatever it is. The next day, I go to sit down and watch a channel, nothing even in the title about giants, and he's talking about giants. I'm like, this is weird. There's another one I experienced here within a couple of days. We talked about
it at work before you watched the video.
Yeah. Oh, it was about spiritual warfare is what it was. And this new book that I'm listening to. Let me pull it up. Basically talks of the return of the old gods. Let me see, what's it called? Yeah, Return of the Gods. That's what it's called. Really good book, really informative, and it talks to the situation of what's going on today, on how God has been pushed out. So these old gods are coming back, and the old gods being Baal, um, Lilith. I want to say Lilith is your name, and Moloch, and it all ties in. And I'd like to do a show on this, maybe on the Fringe one night, something like that. Do some more research
72
into it.
Demons of Solomon.
Right. Uh, so, and I just started listening to that, and somebody posted something about Moloch, and I'm like, I'm listening to this, and it's just weird how things just kind of become a synchronicity. And that's what I asked him: is this coincidence or is it synchronicity? Or synchronicity? And I don't believe in coincidence. So yes, I truly believe there's a spiritual war. Now, let's talk about that real quick. How do you prepare for a spiritual war? You know, that's a tough one, because it's something I can't tell you how to do. Because a spiritual attack, I mean, you with your paranormal group, you deal with that kind of stuff. I know you guys don't really deal with the demonic.
As little as possible.
Right. But how would one prepare for that? I mean, you would have to have a belief system in place.
Yes,
I truly believe that.
that is true. And generally, if you're counseling somebody who's having a problem, you have them concentrate on their belief system.
Right.
So, I mean, because the belief in something empowers, the human mind.
Right.
If you have enough people who believe in something, you can make it possible. It's like the power of prayer. If enough people
Yep.
raise their voices in prayer, things tend to happen.
Right.
So,
My
I
wife
think
put
it
on
just
there.
depends on the person.
I would agree. My wife put on there, buy a Bible before you can't. I would go so far as to say a Bible, a Torah, whatever belief system you have, there are guiding principles in any of those belief systems. Whether I disagree with your principles or not, they're still your principles.
A lot of them are the same.
Right. Right. The Abrahamic religions, but you also have Buddhism, you have Hindu, of the world's most popular religions.
And,
Then you have
you look into some of those, they're not so different.
no, no, they're not. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think in an instance of a revelation type cataclysmic disaster, you would have to be spiritually prepared, not just mentally, but spiritually. And I tend to think that would be more important than anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, because your spirit is what's going to keep you going. I think when they say, you have to have your mental preparedness, you have to be mentally tough. I don't think it's a mental toughness. I think it's a spirit thing. You have to be
Well,
stronger in spirit.
yeah. Body, heart, and mind.
Right.
Sure.
Absolutely.
You can plan for things mentally, but that belief that belief is what really will get you through in whatever it is you believe in. That's what'll get you through.
Yeah. Whether you agree with us or not, I mean, that's beside the point. I believe there is a higher power. I truly believe that. And you all know my beliefs. I don't have to rehash it. And I respect anybody that challenge it. I respect their beliefs, whether I believe differently, because that is their beliefs. But yeah, spiritual belief, spiritual preparedness, I think is the most important type of preparedness. Because it doesn't matter if you have 20 years worth of food and 15 million rounds of ammo and all the water you can drink
And live in a castle.
and live in a castle. If you're not spiritually ready, you're done.
You're going to fail.
You will absolutely
I think,
fail.
I think I think a lot of people would see that as conviction,
Yeah.
faith or conviction.
Yeah. To me, it's one and the same. But I truly believe that is the most important aspect to preparedness. You have to have your morals and your values, and where does that come from? I believe it comes from your spirit. Your spirit. Sure, I mean you're raising, the way you were taught when you were a child, how society has influenced your beliefs, or well, either way, it's influence whether you believe one way or not. But at a gut level, there's things out there you're like, this is not right. So you go the opposite way. You avoid that. As long as you're listening, that little voice in your gut or your head that's telling you avoid this, get away from it, run. Or if it lights a fire in you, run to it, defend it. Listen to that voice. You gonna make it.
Well, I mean, eventually, yes.
He is doing a lot better than what he was last week. So I'll say that.
Well, it all turned into a sinus infection. And I'm
Oh.
about day 2 into the antibiotics, and it's helped a lot, but I'm about to drown.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I really truly believe that spiritual preparedness is the most important. Let's call it a trifecta, I guess you could say. You have spiritual preparedness, mental preparedness,
And physical
and
preparedness.
physical preparedness. I mean, I think we can go with that and grow with that. Um, and without all three of those, I don't think you're going to make it.
I think you'll fail.
I think you'll fail. So I believe you have to have all three of those. I really, maybe it's an epiphany or something, I don't know, on the show tonight. But because I've always heard physical, your physical preparedness, but your mental preparedness is strong. You got to have a strong mental preparedness. I agree with that. But I think you also have to have that spiritual, that you have to be strong in your spirit. No matter where you draw that spiritual strength from. I know a lot of American Indian tribes follow the old ways. Then you have your Christians, you have, like I said, your Hindu, your Buddhas, all that. Wherever you derive your strength from in the spirit, you've got to have that in play. You can't not build that up. I don't know. You got anything else that we can think of?
Well, I mean, there's all kinds of fun plagues. Uh, Lice,
Yeah,
that's miserable. I mean,
yeah,
and that's kind of weather related too. I mean,
it is.
I still like the frogs. I think a
Yeah.
plague of frogs would be fun, especially if they had teeth.
What about the beast from the pit?
There you go.
How do you prepare for that?
I'm going to need a bigger gun.
I'm telling you. I mean, how would you prepare for that? If you see these things coming at you, they look like scorpions and locusts, and they got the mane of a lion, the face of a man, and the breastplate. I mean, how big are these things? I don't think it says in the Bible how big they are.
Yeah, yeah. I'm,
Yeah. My wife said, you can eat frogs. Yeah, you can.
she's right, and they're delicious.
It tastes like chicken.
What are you doing
You think
during the plague? I'm eating.
that's right. I mean, do you think that we say everything tastes like chicken, right?
Right.
Do you think it's because we ate so much chicken? Or because if we ate a lot of gators or frogs before we started eating chickens, because well, it tastes like frog, or something like that. I don't know. That's kind of stupid,
I don't
but
know. Or it could be the Matrix doesn't know how things are supposed to taste, so it just makes them taste like chicken.
true, right? We'll just cover we'll just run the gamut with this. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll just get it all tonight.
Right. Or is it there, because now they're saying like chickens are the closest things to living dinosaurs. They're descendant from
Well, I mean,
raptors and stuff like that.
lizard and chicken taste an awful lot alike.
It does. I mean, I've never eaten lizard. I mean, I've eaten gator
Rattlesnake,
and rattlesnake, but it tastes like chicken.
it does. It really does.
Anyway, we're getting kind of dumb right now, but
Getting. I mean, I'll have you know,
yeah,
I've been
that's it.
dumb for as long as you've known me.
My wife put tiny raptors. Yes, they
Yes,
are. They'll eat anything. They
they're
don't care.
evil.
They are.
You want to have a good afternoon of fun? Catch a garden snake and throw it in the chicken pen.
Yeah, or a mouse.
Oh yeah,
I mean, they'll eat them, bones and all. They don't care.
yeah. They'll fight over them. It's fun.
Yeah. Um. Anyway, I don't have much more. Um.
I don't. I've got brain fog from all the allergy meds. Yeah.
I believe it. I believe it. I don't know if you have questions, and if you're wondering about this, open up a Bible. Surely you know somebody that does. If you don't have one, somebody that's got a Bible. Go in there and look at all the plagues and the cataclysmic events that happen in Revelation.
Right.
It's in the first several chapters. I mean, when they start opening the seals up, it goes to hell in a handbag, literally. It's about the worst possible scenario that you can imagine, and I don't know if there's a way to prepare for any of it. People would argue, well, if you're a Christian, you won't be here. I don't know. I'm not convinced. You have your rapture or whatever is what I'm talking about. Then you have people that argue, pre-tribulation rapture, or mid-tribulation rapture, or post-tribulation rapture, or stuff like that. I don't know, because nowhere in the Bible does it say rapture. But I don't know. I mean, so if you're curious or whatever, go check out a Bible. Go read
There's
Revelation.
stories in there that will give you nightmares.
Yeah, absolutely there is. Absolutely there is. Anyway, that's all I've got for this evening. It's been a fun conversation. We've got a couple people we're trying to line out and hopefully get on. One, she studied under Dolores Cannon. I played a video of hers during the non-player character episodes, correct? If I remember right.
Yes, I'm excited about
And
that.
I just found her, and obviously she passed away, and she has passed away. But the lady I'm trying to get a hold of was actually a student of hers, so I'm hoping to get her on. She's like a uh, a past life hypnotist and different things like that. So I want to get her on and see if she'll answer some questions and talk us through this stuff, because I find it intriguing. At the least, it's intriguing. And then the other is for the sex trafficking guy, the guy that lives this stuff. He goes in, aids local law enforcement offices, like they help pull a bunch of kids out of the Dominican Republic, and they work with these people in
That
organizations,
guy's
and
a
they go
hero.
in.
I,
He is
no,
absolutely
hands down, he
100%.
is a hero.
Um, but they go in guns drawn as well. They go in backing up these law enforcement agencies. It's pretty crazy. I mean, there's a few organizations that I can think of that do this stuff. Um, one is Lantern Rescue, and that's who I'm trying to get a hold of. And then there is Operation Underground Railroad, which what's crazy about this, the whole OR or OUR, I can't remember the founder's names, Tim something or other. I've heard him several times in interviews. They made a movie about this guy, and that movie has disappeared. It got shut down. It's not surprising to me,
No,
but it
they don't
did. It
want to
got
see
shut
that.
down. Right.
It's like all these places that got demonetized for trying to raise money to help kids and women who are being trafficked.
Right. My wife
I
said we should watch The Whistleblower.
just can't understand. Like I can understand, but it infuriates me when I try.
Yeah. Yep. It's the evil, man. It's all 100% evil. And again, we're in a spiritual war. You got to be ready to fight. I mean, I can't say it any more clear.
It is.
Anyway, with that being said, thank you all for listening. Do us a favor. If you need to contact us, whatever, reach out to us. whatiftomorrowpc@gmail.com. We love to hear from you guys. We enjoy having you guys in the chat. So if you listen to this on the podcast version, come over and join us for a live show. I mean, we love having you guys on, hanging out, having
love the
fun,
comments.
talking to the. We do. We love the comments. We love interacting with you guys. It makes everything we do worth it. With that being said, folks, thank you again, and we will catch you next episode.
Have a good night, folks.